The state parole board is hearing from the family and friends of fallen Lexington police officer Brian Durman as the man accused of hitting and killing him is up for parole once again.
We have a flood watch in effect. That goes through tomorrow morning. We're going to go over how much rain you can expect and when that rain transitions back into snow later on tonight. That's coming up.
The number of crashes are climbing in Lexington as road crews work to clear roads. Coming up, we're taking a live look at road conditions.
This is WKYT News at noon.
Good afternoon from WKYT News here on President's Day. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Barbara Bailey. The snow has transitioned back into rain this midday, and all that moisture could cause some flooding issues in the south and east.
And once again, into the evening hours, all that rain expected to turn back into snow could make for another dicey commute tomorrow morning. And we're in the midst of a WKYT First Alert Severe Weather Day to keep you updated on what's going on. Meteorologist Micah Harris tracking the system now on our First Alert Defender network.
You know, it's already picking up that heavy rain southbound. It's not really moving northbound too fast. It's a slow-moving system, and slow-moving systems with moderate rain tend to lead to some flooding impacts across the region. You're seeing that across Howard Rogers Parkway, now entering that Mountain Parkway range. You go into 127 down toward Lake Cumberland, and also working your way across the Cumberland Parkway. That's where that rain's located. It moves northbound as we go through time. Lexington, I would expect it anywhere from 2 to 4 p.m., but there is a lot of moisture with this system. And the closer this system gets, the better likelihood of picking that heavy rain up. And not only that, but also looking for those temperatures to rise just a little bit more. It's 36 right now in Lexington, 37 in London. I'm going to show you when that rain starts to transition into snow coming up.
Micah, thank you. It was another long night for road crews in Lexington and throughout central Kentucky who spent hours clearing the snow. Police have worked more than 24 crashes since midnight. That's way down from the 90 or so from yesterday. Most of the main roads are now passable, but some side streets are still a problem. WKYT's Mark Barber is live in the Hamburg area with an update on conditions. And he continues our top story team weather coverage at noon. Mark.
Good afternoon, Bill, and you can see why some of these side streets are still a problem. This here is Hamburg, or rather Caversham Park Lane. As you can see, still very snow covered, but that changes very quickly. If you take a walk with me here, Polo Club Boulevard is just down this way, and as you can see, pavement is really starting to peek through the snow here. So these dramatic side streets really covered with a lot of snow. That changes very quickly into these main roads that are very clear. So the challenge for drivers this afternoon is making it from these slick side streets down to those main roads. Now, the slick streets have really been keeping police busy. This morning, they worked 27 crashes. People were hurt in 5 of those wrecks. Compare that to 90 crashes that they counted in 11 hours yesterday. So roads are improving, but neighborhood streets still have a long way to go. Since Lexington was only hit with a couple inches of snow, road crews are only plowing the city's busiest roads. That means a lot of these side streets will not be touched by snow plows. However, rain will start falling in a few hours, and road crews say that will really start to break up the snow. Until that happens, some drivers are altogether avoiding these snowy side streets.
When I take her to work, my fiance, I usually take the back roads like on East Hills and stuff to get to Bluegrass Family Health. I was scared to do it. I didn't take the side roads because obviously they were really bad. Real slushy.
While the rain will start to clear some of the snow away this afternoon, road crews say it will also wash their road salt away. So they say if it is needed, they're going to go back out, pre-treat those roads, put down more salt before this rain turns back into snow later tonight. Live in Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
All right, Mark, thank you. And by the way, road crews don't plow all of the side streets unless the city of Lexington gets hit with more than 8 inches of snow.
Well, you might say it's a wet mess in southern Kentucky right now. Rain is falling on top of several inches of snow. Most main roads are clear, but side roads are still covered, and that's causing trouble for firefighters. WKYT's Phil Pendleton continues our top story weather team coverage live now in Pulaski County. Phil?
This is Rainy Road here behind me. This situation is changing by the moment, and just in the last couple of minutes I saw a county salt truck clearing this roadway, but the fire department had a lot of trouble getting to the scene, and in fact I myself have had difficulty getting to where this fire is, and they're keeping me back about a half mile from the scene. I think they're going to be opening it up here in the next couple of moments to let us get in there so we can show you exactly what happened. But again, a house fire here on Rainy Road. Poor conditions all throughout the county, but main roads like 27 and 80 are fine. You could go just about the normal speed, but the roads like this one are the reasons why the fire department had trouble getting to this house fire. I talked to some friends of the fire victim who, like me, could not get to where their friend is.
That's a friend of mine's.
Really?
Yeah, a good friend of mine.
I guess the fire department had a hard time getting to it, and
I had the way they talked, they did.
well, would you know much about what happened to your friend, or?
No, I don't have a clue. I hadn't talked to him in a few months.
I guess you got a feel for him, though.
Yeah.
Having to...
That's what I done, come out here and check on him.
And again, a cold rain continues to fall here, adding to the misery. And in fact, the Pulaski County Sheriff's Department says they fear this is going to give people a false sense of security, thinking that the rain is going to help melt a lot of this snow. But then later on tonight, when the temperature falls, they fear there may be a lot more problems. So again, the situation here may not get much better than what it is now. In fact, they fear it's going to get worse. In Pulaski County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Phil, thank you. And police in Pulaski County say other than people driving into ditches, they didn't have any serious crashes overnight. We're not the only ones dealing with another bout of wintry weather. Our nation's capital is also dealing with the winter storm. The mayor of Washington, D.C. says she's fully deployed the city's snow team ahead of a storm that's expected to deliver a sloppy mix of snow, sleet, and rain today. 1 to several inches of snow in the forecast. Philadelphia is also expected to see 1 to 3 inches of snow, while New York City could get up to 4 inches. And you can stay on top of the snowfall and the road conditions with the WKYT Weather Plus Traffic app. You can download it for free in the app or Google Play stores.
In other news at noon, the widow of a Lexington police officer is trying to make sure her husband's killer stays behind bars. Brandy Derman made her case in front of the state parole board this morning. Back in 2010, Glenn Donahue was sentenced to 20 years in prison. A jury convicted him in a hit-and-run crash that killed Officer Brian Derman. WKYT's Hillary Thornton is live with reaction from today's hearing. Hillary?
Good afternoon, Bill. Several members of the Lexington Police Department were on hand here this morning showing their support for the widow of fallen police officer Brian Derman. His widow, along with other family members, spoke to the state parole board, hoping they will once again deny parole for Glenn Donahue. Back in 2010, Officer Derman was checking on a noise complaint when investigators say Donahue hit him with his SUV and drove off. A jury convicted Donahue of second-degree manslaughter. He was given a sentence of 20 years. It is a sentence that has more than 6 years remaining. Donahue has already been denied parole once, back in February of 2014. During that hearing, he spoke briefly and denied claims that he was behind the wheel of the SUV that struck Officer Derman. Today, 24 months after that previous hearing, is the first day of a 2-day process. Officer Derman's widow, along with his siblings and mother, explaining what their family, as well as their law enforcement family, has been through, especially having to go through this process now every 2 years, asking that the man accused of taking their loved one's life stays in prison. His widow, Brandy Derman, brought along more than 5,000 letters from community members asking the same thing. Derman talked about going through life without her husband and having to watch their son grow up without his dad.
Because he is already terrified that if his daddy can go to work one night while he's asleep and die as a policeman, what could happen to the rest of us?
Now, the hearing just wrapped up about 30 minutes ago. Donahue will have his chance to speak to the parole board tomorrow morning from the Little Sandy Correctional Complex. For now, live in Frankfort, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
All right, Hillary, thank you. We will be at Donahue's hearing tomorrow morning, and we'll bring you those developments here on WKYT News. Well, the owners of a historic store in northern Kentucky that was destroyed by fire say they will rebuild, and they're asking now for the public's help. The fire broke out Saturday night at the Rabbit Hash General Store in Boone County. Crews don't know how the fire started. They say they do not suspect arson. A GoFundMe page has been set up for donations, and so far it has raised $34,000. Certainly a landmark up there.
Yes, it is.
Well, the new 21C Hotel in downtown Lexington is not open just yet, but there is already a new place to eat dinner going up inside.
Lockbox officially opens for business tonight. It's located to the left of 21C's lobby and can accommodate about 100 people. The hotel is in the old First National Bank building. According to the Herald Leader, the restaurant has a private dining room in the former bank's vault. To start, Lockbox will only be open for dinner. Breakfast and lunch options will be added at some point. The 21C Hotel opens next month.
Well, the unexpected death of Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia has touched off what could be a political war in Washington. We'll have the latest on the battle to replace him next on Kentucky's #1 Midday News.
Also ahead, music's biggest night is always full of memorable performances and a few surprises. Coming up, we'll preview the 58th Annual Grammy Awards on WKYT.
3 women with one thing in common. They are all transgender. WKYT's Amber Philpott talks with the 3 to discuss their struggles and their hopes for the future.
It's about treating individuals with dignity and respect.
Transitions in life, tonight at 6 on WKYT. When winter is at its worst, that's when WKYT calls a First Alert Severe Weather Day. Continuous coverage on air, on WKYT.com, and wherever you are with our news and weather apps. First Alert Severe Weather Days, only on WKYT.
I was a CTE graduate, now I hire them.
The faculty cares, that's what sold me.
CTE is for me.
CTE is for me.
Call CTE, the College for Technical Education, today.
Think about this. You're paying for new windows whether you buy them or not. Over 70% of your energy dollars are lost through those old drafty windows in the wintertime to keep you cold. Right now, with new windows, we can save you energy dollars. Give your home an energy upgrade. Take advantage of our winter blowout sale here at America's Window. You buy 2 windows, you get 1 half off. Convenient credit terms available. Act now and upgrade to triple pane at no additional charge. Give your home an energy upgrade. Call America's Window today.
We have an abundance of natural resources here in the Bluegrass. More miles of running water than any state in the continental U.S. You may not know it, but all those creeks and streams catch water directly from our storm sewers on the streets. That means when someone tosses a cigarette butt on Main or Vine, chances are good it'll end up in Town Branch. Leave some pet waste on a sidewalk near Versailles Road, it goes into Wolf Run Creek. Help us protect what's priceless.
What's the affordable difference? It's their very affordable fees.
They care about me.
Dentures in just one day.
Their experienced denture team.
Call 1-800-DENTURE or go to affordabledentures.com for valuable coupons. Same-day dentures, extractions, and implants. Affordable fees, compassionate care, and satisfied patients.
What's the affordable difference? A great smile.
I chose CTE to change my life for the better.
This year, I have a career.
CTE is for me.
CTE is for me.
CTE is for me.
CTE is for me.
Call CTE, the College for Technical Education, today.
Welcome back to WKYT News at noon. Preparations are underway for the funeral of Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia, who suddenly died during a hunting trip in Texas over the weekend.
Weijia Jiang reports from the Supreme Court having more now on the fight to replace him.
Flags are flying at half-staff outside the Supreme Court today in honor of Justice Antonin Scalia. A white hearse carried his body to an airport in West Texas over the weekend for a return home to Virginia. Scalia died while on a hunting trip at this ranch in Marfa, Texas. A county judge determined by phone that the 79-year-old passed away of natural causes.
One of the things that I did ask the sheriff and the marshal that was there if there were any signs of foul play. And they said, absolutely not.
Scalia was a conservative titan, ruthlessly defending his interpretation of the Constitution, even though his opinions often sparked controversy.
I could be charming and combative at the same time.
Still, he maintained deep friendships with liberal justices like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who said she and Scalia were best buddies. Scalia's death leaves behind an evenly split court with 4 conservative and 4 liberal Supreme Court justices. President Obama says there's enough time left in his term to appoint Scalia's replacement. But many Republicans, including Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, say the appointment should wait until after a new president is elected.
I do not believe the president should appoint someone. It's called delay, delay, delay.
Scalia's death marks only the second time in more than 60 years that a justice has died while still serving on the bench. Weijia Zhang, CBS News, the Supreme Court.
And Scalia served on the Supreme Court for 3 decades. He was appointed by President Ronald Reagan and was the first Italian-American justice. Scalia's doctor says he suffered from a number of chronic conditions. His family declined a private autopsy. U.S. Airlines will soon be bidding to win routes to Cuba starting tomorrow. U.S. carriers will have 15 days to submit applications to the Department of Transportation for Cuba routes. The development brings airlines and travelers a step closer to scheduled flights between the two countries for the first time in more than 50 years. The U.S. and Cuba are expected to formally sign an agreement to resume the flight soon. They reached the agreement back in December. Once it is signed, it could lead to more than 100 daily round-trip flights in and out of Cuba. Well, Kentucky native George Clooney met with displaced Syrian refugees in Germany over the weekend.
The actor and activist, along with his wife, human rights lawyer Amal, met with German Chancellor Angela Merkel to discuss what the film industry can do to help the growing refugee crisis. The couple then met with Syrian refugees in Berlin, where they spoke about what life was like in Syria, why they had to leave, and their futures in Europe. The music world will celebrate some of its biggest names tonight at the 58th Annual Grammy Awards. Kendrick Lamar leads the pack of nominees with 11, followed by Taylor Swift's 7, including Album of the Year, Record of the Year, and Song of the Year. Other contenders for top albums are Alabama Shakes, The Weeknd, and Kentucky native Chris Stapleton, who was also named for Best Country Album, Country Solo Performance, and Country Song for Traveler, those nominations. And the Grammy Awards air tonight at 8 o'clock right here on WKYT.
This morning we heard testimony from police about the evidence against a man charged in the 2014 murder of a Lexington woman.
Think you might be pregnant? No judgment, no pressure, just help. AssuranceCare.org.
Every year I operate thousands of hours. I'm turned on and off thousands of times. I keep you cool and I keep you warm. I have the best 10-year no-hassle replacement warranty around. No worries, no questions, no hassle. I am Comfort Maker. Go to ComfortMaker.com today.
I'm John Morgan. For almost 30 years, we've had the opportunity to help you at one of your most desperate hours. An accident takes seconds to occur, but the injuries, loss of income, and medical bills can last a long time, even a lifetime. Our job is to make sure that your justice compensates you for your pain and suffering and protects your family for the rest of your life. Remember, I'm not just a lawyer, I'm your lawyer. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
What do these women have in common? They are the staff of Ageless Medical Weight Loss. They've lost a combined 1,300 pounds. The team at Ageless will understand your struggles and celebrate your victories. For a medically supervised, affordable weight loss solution, call Ageless today for a free consultation.
The accident wasn't that bad. This check will cover all the repairs. Plus, you don't have a rental car agreement, but we're going to give you an allowance for getting back and forth to pick up your car. How's that sound?
Oh, okay.
All you need to do now is sign right here. You can get on with your life.
A smiling cheater is still a cheater. Come on now. You know what to do. Call 800-800-4600.
Are you tired of juggling your finances and can't afford those remodeling projects?
Surplus Sales has laminate flooring starting at 69 cents per square foot, including free underlayment with purchase.
Come on down to Surplus Sales for some great deals.
Think about this. You're paying for new windows whether you buy them or not. Over 70% of your energy dollars are lost through those old drafty windows in the wintertime to keep you cold. Right now, with new windows, we can save you energy dollars. Give your home an energy upgrade. Take advantage of our winter blowout sale here at America's Window. You buy 2 windows, you get 1 half off. Convenient credit terms available. Act now and upgrade to triple pane at no additional charge. Give your home an energy upgrade. Call America's Window today.
When I needed a new furnace, I did my research, found out that Comfort Heating and Air had the highest reviews on Google and Angie's List. So I went with Comfort Maker's 10-year no-hassle warranty. Do what I did, call the Comfort Man today.
I'm WKYT's Rebecca Smith, and I stand for Kentucky.
Rain rolling through the south and southeastern zones still. And look, we've had that overnight into the morning hours. Now everything's switching over to rain. Maybe a few flurries here and there on the northern extent of this, but for the most part, it's just some heavy rain keeps funneling on in here. This is where it begins to start to add up very rapidly. Hal Rogers Parkway in 421 very soaked. As of right now, it's just going to get worse. You go across 119 all the way through the mountains there in southeastern Kentucky, and it's just not a good go at it. Look at these temperatures. We're at 39 now in Monticello. We talked about it this morning where we could have a 40-degree reading in a couple of spots down south. The rest of us are going to stay right there in the mid-30s, maybe some upper 30s, but for the most part, we are staying above freezing. That is key to this forecast, and honestly, that actually matches up to what the models are saying, which gives us more confidence on our forecast later on this evening and off into the night. Flood watch still in effect, and that goes through tomorrow morning. It's not for everybody, but if you go into the southern half of our viewing area, Mountain Parkway, Hal Rogers Parkway, and back towards 64, rolling from Lexington all the way to Moorhead and Ashland, that's the area we're going to be watching very closely. Hour by hour forecast, we get toward 4 p.m., really starts barreling down on the I-64 corridor. Afternoon, your husband or wife coming home from work, look at that, 6 p.m. It's going to be very, very soggy once we head off into the late afternoon, off into the evening hours. But watch this, from 10 p.m. to about 3 a.m. That's when I expect that switch over to happen. Look where it switches over, and this has pretty much been where it's located the past couple of days, right along the I-75 corridor, and then it makes its way eastbound. So 75 eastbound, that's the best chance of actually picking up some accumulation out of this system. When I say some, I'm talking anywhere from 2 to 6 inches of snow there in the forecast. So that's something to really watch out for as we go overnight and into tomorrow. The good news here is that it's going to be wet snow and it's going to be overnight. So we're trying to get those people there outside knocking that stuff off the roads before we start to get that early morning commute tomorrow morning.
That would be the road
to go
crews.
through. Oh, absolutely. Thanks, man. I couldn't think of the words. Appreciate the help.
He's here to help. That's right. It's great.
All right, thank you. We're back in a moment. The Player of the Year race in college basketball.
John Calipari says he has a contender. Dave Baker's next with sports.
CBS Tonight, don't be late for the Grammys, because superstar Taylor Swift is kicking off the show. Plus, Justin Bieber, Ice Cube, Pitbull, Kendrick Lamar, The Weeknd, Lady Gaga, Rihanna, Stevie Wonder, Little Big Town, Carrie Underwood, Ed Sheeran, host LL Cool J. And say hello when world superstar Adele returns to the Grammy stage. Don't miss the Grammys, CBS Tonight, or stream it live.
In the winter, cold air literally pulls the warm air out of your home. Get rid of those drafty old windows with our winter installation and new windows from America's Window. They make a difference. Listen to Alan.
Looks like we've reduced our energy bill about 25%. And the windows hopefully will end up paying for themselves.
Over 23,000 satisfied customers. America's Window. Come by and see us at 1190 East New Circle Road right here in town, here in Lexington. Call the toll-free number 1-800-861-4153. Check us out on the web. A lot of folks doing that now. americaswindowusa.com. And check this out. It's our winter blowout sale. You buy 2 windows, you get 1 half off. Convenient credit terms available, and if you act right now during this program, get an upgrade to triple pane and no additional charge. Go to the phone and make the call for a free estimate. 1-800-861-4153. America's Window.
It's bold. It's exciting. It's groundbreaking. Toyota is the President's Weekend event. Now through Tuesday, get $500 President's Weekend bonus cash on any new 2016 RAV4. Use it to get 0% plus $500. Or use it to lease this RAV4 for just $199 a month. Don't miss the President's Weekend event. Now through Tuesday only. Toyota. Let's go places.
At Hair Win, we've been helping people for 125 years.
If you've been injured in a life-changing accident, we can help.
Contact us at helpingkentucky.com.
Hair Win. Visit helpingkentucky.com.
Hi! You need a better car!
It's my credit.
Don't worry, because when you need to make a move, Drive Time approves!
Were you guys always this cool?
Yeah, totally.
Save yourself. Get approved at Drive Time first. Call, click, or visit.
At Golden Law Office, we handled cases for insurance companies for over 25 years. They often value your case based on the attorney you hire and the experts you retain. Let us put our experience, resources, and knowledge to work for you. Call us today for a free case evaluation.
Get WKYT news and weather updates on 104.5 The Cat.
The last we saw and heard from John Calipari was this shot after he was ejected 2.5 minutes into the game at South Carolina. Cal was tossed after getting his second technical foul from referee Doug Sermons. Now, according to one courtside observer, the reason Cal may have been so upset was his contention that he didn't say anything. That would lead one to surmise that he was simply teed up for being out of the coaching box when he went to talk to Sermons at midcourt, and that second tee meant an automatic ejection. League rules keep Cal from talking about refereeing or the ejection on the SEC teleconference a little while ago, but he was not bashful in his praise for Tyler Ulis. ESPN's Andy Katz named Ulis his National Player of the Week after his 27-point, 12-assist effort in Columbia, and it should be noted that all 27 points came in the final 29 minutes of play. Cal was asked if his point guard should be in the discussion for SEC Player of the Year.
I think it's beyond just SEC player. I think he'd obviously be a name that should be mentioned, but I'm like looking at what about Player of the Year? When you talk about what he's been able to do for us and what he's done in these games, it's incredible. And let me say, he's got numbers that you don't see but every 5 to 10 years.
Cats' next game, of course, Thursday against Tennessee. The Wildcats will look to even up the series after that second half 21-point collapse in Knoxville earlier this month. Game time is 7 on ESPN. We will hear much more from Kentucky coach coming up a little bit later, guys. But for now, that's a look at sports on this Monday.
All right, Dave, thank you so much.
And there's more to come in our next half hour of WKYT News at noon.
A routine traffic stop led to a huge weekend drug bust in Nelson County.
Coming up at 12:30, we'll take you to Franklin County, where officials say they've gotten lucky this winter.
Tomorrow night's Mega Millions jackpot is $94 million, and Wednesday night's Powerball jackpot $189 million.